Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yato anvayaditaratascha artheshu abhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mrudam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Swena Sada Nirastakohakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukad Amrita Drava Sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. We now enter the 9th chapter of the 12th Skandha of Bhagavatam. We continue with the story of the sage Markandeya. We saw in the last chapter how he engaged in great austerity and he withstood or resisted all kinds of temptations. And then he was blessed with the divine vision of Narayana as the twin sages Nara Narayana. And Markandeya offered beautiful prayers. Now it continues. So having been glorified by Markandeya, the Supreme Being Narayana spoke in very gentle tone. He said, O Markandeya, you have truly attained perfection through a fully regulated mind, through unceasing devotion, through your asceticism, through your wisdom, and through completely regulating all your senses and mind. And therefore, we are highly pleased with you. You can ask any boon you wish, and I'll be glad to give you. So it says, Bhagavan Uvacha, Brahma Rishir Varyasi Siddha Atma Samadhina. So here Bhagavan says, you become the greatest among the Brahma Rishis and perfect Siddha through Atma Samadhi, through completely abiding in the pure being. And therefore we are highly pleased and happy to give you any boon. So the Rishi Markandeya replies, he says, just getting your vision is the greatest benediction, the greatest boon. Just perceiving you is the source of all happiness and it dispels all agony. You have already bestowed this favor upon me. Even the great Brahma felt perfectly gratified just simply getting your darshan, getting your vision, which results in the mind being purified. Therefore, what greater boon can there be? But then he says, if you insist, I would ask for one thing, which is, I would like to get a vision of your Maya. So everybody knows that everything happens through Vishnu Maya. So here Markandeya says, I would like to know directly the extent of your Maya, because Maya is the hardest thing to comprehend. It makes everything function. It creates all kinds of energy, all kinds of forms, all kinds of realms, time, everything. So Markandeya asks, if you can give me a vision of your Maya, under whose influence the whole world perceives diversity, then that will be the boon that I can ask for. So here the important thing is Markandeya pointing out that the whole diversity arises through this Maya. So not only does the energy of creation, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, all happen through Maya, further, it also creates a sense of separation, a sense of me, through which everyone is identified with their body and mind, separate as me and mine, and thereby feeling diversity and separation with other beings. So, hearing this boon being asked, the Lord says, so be it, tatheti, and then he goes back to Badrikashrama. So, Nara Narayana are said to ever reside in Badrinath or Badrikashram, and from there they had descended to give him darshan, so they go back there. Then, after they leave, Markandeya continues his regular routine as he was doing before. He engages in meditation, in having sacred fire, and then in seeing the Lord Sri Hari in the sacred fire, in the sun, the moon, the earth, the air, space, his own self in all beings. So essentially seeing the Supreme Being alone in everyone, everywhere, everything. And in this way, with great emotion, great love, he was living. He almost practically forgot the boon he asked for. But then one day, of course, any boon that has been asked and that's been promised will not fail to fructify. So one day, when he was not even aware of it, when he had seemingly forgotten the boon he asked for, suddenly one evening, as he was worshipping on the bank of the river Pushpabhadra, suddenly a wind started blowing. And then the wind became a blast, there was a terrible noise, and suddenly very frightful clouds, huge clouds, thick dark clouds appeared, then flashes of lightning, and then rain started pouring, not ordinary rain, but rain that poured like literally buckets pouring down, loudly rumbling. And then soon enough, the rain was so huge that everywhere water was getting filled up. And not only that, the whole of all the oceans, the Himalayas, where his hermitage is so far away from the oceans, but it seemed that the whole of earth was inundated and the oceans were all overflowing and coming all the way to the Himalayas with terrible whirlpools and covering earth on all sides with waves that are tossed by the fury of the storm in the ocean. Now the sage was completely perturbed at heart. Seeing all this, he was dismayed. He was seeing all kinds of creatures being tossed about in the ocean and submerging, and there was waves rising higher and higher, seemingly touching the skies. Strokes of lightning, earth is deluged with water, and the ocean seems boundless. It's dark everywhere. There is waves that are terrible. The water is being tossed violently. There is flooding, there is clouds, there is lightning. And all of earth, the dvipas, that is the various continents, and varshas, that is the various divisions within the continents, and the mountains, and everything was submerged in water. It seemed that the whole universe, not just the earth, but the heaven, every region was covered in this deluge of water. And Markandeya recognized that he alone was alive. It seemed like all other creatures were submerged in this water. He alone was alive, and he was floating, gasping. He had his matted locks still, and with his matted locks, he was floating along in this water, being the only creature left alive, only living being alive. And he was oppressed with hunger and thirst, even though he was in water. This was ocean water, and he was inside thirsty and hungry. There was all kinds of animals, aquatic animals floating around, causing more fear, and there was such darkness everywhere. He felt exhausted, drifting everywhere, couldn't make any direction, couldn't see the sky, couldn't see the earth. He was completely overwhelmed with waves, and these waves were so high and so tall, and there were all kinds of aquatic creatures, whales and sharks and alligators. They were killing each other, and he was feeling such agony, sorrow, fear. Everything was afflicting him, and it seemed like in this way, hundreds of thousands of years were going by. He was floating alone in this deluge. And when this happened for so long, suddenly he saw a small patch of earth in a distance, and he was floating along, and he reached that place, and that patch of earth had a banyan tree with leaves and fruits, and on the branch of the banyan tree he saw a beautiful baby on the leaf of the banyan tree. So he saw this from the water as it gets close to the earth, and he saw this beautiful baby who is looking dark green in color like emerald, with a beautiful lotus like face, with beautiful neck. It says Maha Marakata Shyamam Srimad Vadana Pankajam. So his face is like lotus, his eyes are like lotus. He's looking beautiful with his eyebrows looking so charming, with beautiful hair flowing, and with milk like teeth smiling, and with his red lips, coral like lips, and eyes that are like lotus. So, this baby is none other than the Supreme Being appearing as young baby Krishna. And he was seeing this beautiful baby Krishna in the banyan leaf on this tree. And not only that, the baby was having a foot in his mouth. One foot, that is the big toe of his foot, was in his mouth as babies do, and he was having such charming toes and fingers, and he was sucking his own toe as babies do. So, seeing this vision, Markandeya was now suddenly completely exhilarated. All his fatigue, exhaustion, fear had all gone away, and now he was having this most divine vision. And when he had this divine vision, he was so happy. There was such joy in his being and such awe in his whole being. And he suddenly, as he approached the patch of earth, in order to get closer to this baby, suddenly it felt like he became a small fly. He was not anymore the sage with matted locks and with the human body, but he suddenly became almost a fly, and as a fly, he entered the breath of this baby inside the belly of the baby. And there, to his great astonishment, he sees the whole universe. The entire universe that was completely submerged in the deluge, and how it was before the deluge, that was exactly how it appeared inside the belly of the baby. Inside baby Krishna, he sees the whole universe in the belly, exactly as arranged before: the aerial region, the heaven, earth, bhur, bhuva, swaha. The mountains are there, the oceans are there, the various dvipas, continents are there, the various varshas, the subdivisions are there, the quarters, the four quarters are there, the rivers, the towns, the villages, the people engaging in various activities, farming and various other arts and crafts, and people engaging in wisdom, in warfare, in business. All kinds of things are seen, and then he sees time itself arranged within this universe, and there are yugas and there are kalpas, and in essence the entire universe was seen. And not only that, he saw the Himalayan mountain there, and in the mountain he saw the portion of the Himalayas where his hermitage was there, and he saw the great sages who are there, all engaged in tapas. All this he saw, and as he was seeing all this vision inside the belly of the baby, it is almost like with the next breath he was thrown out of the baby. He came out as the fly, he went in and he came out as well. And as soon as he comes out, he is again tossed back into the waters, and the banyan tree is there, and the baby is still there lying in the hollow leaf of the banyan tree. And he is again so eager to go embrace the baby. So again, he tries to approach the baby, feeling afflicted, feeling separation, recognizing now fully that this is none other than the Supreme Lord. It says Adhokshaja, the one beyond all sense perceptions, Krishna. He recognizes that this is none other than Krishna, whose darshan he had as Narayana, and therefore he again wants to embrace the baby. But when he again tries to do that, getting near, suddenly he sees that the baby has vanished. The one who is present in the hearts of everyone, the Supreme Lord, he suddenly vanished. That vision was completely gone. It says, Tavatsa Bhagavan Sakshad Yogadhisho Guhashayah. So the great Lord, who is the one who abides in the hearts of all, in the cave of the heart of all, the one who was appearing on the hollow of the leaf, he suddenly disappeared. And not only did he disappear, so the sage wanted to again embrace the baby, Krishna, but the baby disappeared. And then immediately the banyan tree disappeared. And then he looked around and the deluge disappeared. And then the whole flooding and the waters and everything disappeared. The apparent dissolution of the universe disappeared. And he was back to where he exactly was, sitting in the hermitage as if nothing had happened. So, this is the vision of Vishnu Maya. So, this is the beautiful vision that Markandeya is blessed with. Though terrifying when it happened, he, by getting this vision, he recognized that the whole universe that we perceive in waking state is none other than exactly another vision as this, because it all felt so real when it happened to him. He felt the whole universe getting deluged and everyone dying and so much misery and so much destruction and all that. And then after all that, he saw this beautiful vision of Krishna And then within that vision, he again saw the whole universe, and everything was only a vision, and it got withdrawn. And it appeared so real, and it was exactly like the waking state, and yet it was all simply a vision he had been bestowed with to fulfill the boon he asked for, which is to show the extent of Maya. When he asked for this boon, he didn't realize the extent to which the Maya can bewilder him, who is a sage, who is already, as the vision when he got of Narayana, we saw that Bhagavan himself said, "You are perfected, you are completely realized." Even as a realized perfect sage, he didn't expect this Maya to be so overwhelming that he got so deluded, bewildered by it. And then he also got so ecstatic when he got the vision of this baby Krishna, and all of that was withdrawn, and he was left exactly where he was on the banks of Pushpabhadra in the Himalayas in the same evening where he was doing his prayers. So, in one moment, everything had transpired as if millions of years had passed by, yugas and kalpas had passed by. All of this happened. This entire vision was given and then withdrawn. So, this is the secret behind the question that Shaunaka asked. Shaunaka asked how Markandeya saw a deluge, even though a deluge has not happened in this kalpa, because he was born in the very kalpa in which the rishis are listening to this discourse in Naimisharanya, and there has been no recorded deluge that has happened so far. So now they are told that this deluge was not a universal deluge that happened for everyone, but it was a vision given to Markandeya, a special vision which, albeit just a vision, was completely real to him while it lasted, and thereby also teaching that even this vision we have of the universe is non-different, it's only an appearance, though it seems so real while it's happening. So, with this boon of Vishnu Maya that was asked by Markandeya was given to him, and thereby the extent of Vishnu Maya was revealed. And this vision is what resulted in the beautiful Bala Mukundashtakam, because he came out of, after coming out of this vision, after this Vishnu Maya was removed, then he composed this beautiful prayer called Bala Mukundashtakam, which is the glorification of Krishna, who appeared in his vision as the young baby Krishna lying on the leaf of a banyan tree with this beautiful appearance, and with his toe, big toe of his foot in his mouth, sucking it, and simply lying there in the midst of the deluge as if unaffected, while also within him, within his belly, holding the entire universe, the vision of which was given to Markandeya. So this whole vision and this whole form of Bala Mukunda, the young baby Krishna, is what is sung by him as Bala Mukundashtakam, a most beautiful prayer. The first line, in fact, it says, Karara Vindena Padara Vindam Mukhara Vindena Viniveshayantam Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. It says Karara Vindena, with lotus like hands, Padara Vindam, he is holding his lotus like foot. So he holds the big toe with his foot and brings it to his mouth. Mukhara Vindena Viniveshayantam, and then he is bringing it to his lotus like face and putting his big toe in his mouth and sucking on it. Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam, on the leaf of a banyan tree, he is lying down in this way. Balam Mukundam Manasas Marami, I, with my whole mind, contemplate upon, meditate upon this form of baby Krishna. So there are 8 prayers, as Ashtakam means 8. There are 8 prayers. This is the first prayer of the 8 that he composed after this vision of Bala Mukunda through Vishnu Maya. With this chapter ends. In the next chapter, we'll see the conclusion of Markandeya's story and how he gets blessed by Lord Shiva as well. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.